Hey everybody, what's going on? You are listening to the Playing On podcast. My name is Carl Markowski, and thank you again for joining me. Thumbs up. What's up? This episode is brought to you by Charm City Paintball. The head game guru, Mr. Mike Thompson, over at Charm City Paintball, is whipping out the hottest headgear that I have had the privilege of wearing, not only on my head, but also I've worn on my pack as a pack band. Many people are wearing his stuff. It's very awesome. It's great quality, awesome stitching. The designs are amazing, and I can't say enough awesome things about awesome. I say awesome a lot, but he makes really great work. Make sure you check him out. He is Charm City Paintball on Facebook as well as Instagram. And if you have any questions or any kind of thought of a design or anything that you think you would like, he is more than willing to work with you guys. And that is what I love about Mike. He makes some amazing work, and it's all rare stuff. It's very low runs, so anything that you ever get from him is probably 10 or less. So he uses nice, dense, very wearable fabric, and I love it, man. It's great stuff. So check him out, Charm City Paintball, Facebook and Instagram. Shoot him a message and let him know that Carl from this goddamn podcast sent you. So thank you, Mike. We are also brought to you by Carbon Paintball, who have a bunch of new stuff out, and I believe they have a bunch coming out for World Cup. They'll have some stuff in Chicago, I believe, but they have the new sleeve arm pads. I don't know if they're available or not. They have the thermal pods. They have the SC pack. They have the base layer, top and bottom, which I wear, and I'm very happy with. They keep my knees and elbows all in place, and kind of moving around and adjusting yourself. And that's one thing I've noticed. Wearing individual padding is that every once in a while, because I'm a front guy, I'm diving all over the place, is that everything adjusts and it moves into places where you don't want it to move, and then all of a sudden you're trying to do something and your knee pad is bugging the hell out of you because it's all the way on the side of your knee, and you got to readjust it, and then you got to get yourself back in the game. But with the carbon gear, it all stays in place. It's nice and tight, compressed, but breathable. So check it out, carbonpaintball.com. And if you use the promo code capital TPOP at checkout, you will get 10% off your entire order. And make sure you get some SC gear. I love that stuff, man. It's great. Great guys over there. Carbon Paintball. We are lastly brought to you by Planet Eclipse. There's a fly in here, and he's bugging the shit out of me. I'm going to get him. Anyway, we are brought to you by Planet Eclipse, the makers of the EMEC, the CS2, the LV series. They have awesome gear up there, actually, right there. I could be a weather guy. Look at that. Those are some Planet Eclipse elbow pads. They also make packs. They make pants. They make all kinds of stuff, but they are obviously well known for all of their markers. But since all of the mechanical stuff is on the rise, Planet Eclipse has come out with the EMEC, and it has been just blowing people away. They also make the GMEC, but I prefer the EMEC. I think it shoots better. I like the hinge trigger rather than the slide, and it shoots amazing. I love that damn thing, and I get all kinds of people asking me about it and asking questions about it, and I have nothing but great things about it. It makes paintball fun. That's for sure. I love just plinking away at that thing, But anyway, thank you to Planet Eclipse, and thank you to all of our sponsors. This episode is with Chris Ponyboy Lasoya, and he was one of the guys who I think was one of the bigger superstars of the game back in the day, and for a long time too. And he was one of the founders, I feel, of the run through. And at least for me, growing up and watching him play, and he played with authority and aggression and intent, and I loved it. I loved watching him play. I loved playing against him. He was a riot, and still is. Now working for Push, and they have some amazing products. Make sure you check them out. But yeah, it's great to see him back in the game, especially from his injury. I didn't want to ask him too much about it because I know it's kind of a sensitive subject, but he's an amazing guy. I'm glad he's back in the sport, and yeah, it was a great time. So make sure you guys give it up for Chris Lasoya. I don't have a picture of you. Yeah, there you are.
You're welcome. I just do a couple push-ups and stuff real quick.
It's all good. Get the sweat glistening.
I'm telling you, man, I'm always listening. Out here in California.
What part of California are you in?
I'm in Orange County, South Orange County.
Ballin'.
Yeah, man. Well, my wife is. I'm just burning up out here. Oh,
zing.
Did you get that? That was funny.
So how is that going? I mean, is that like 20, 30% of your body, 10%?
No, honestly, man, it was just like my arms. You can kind of tell I was wearing a t-shirt. It was a push shirt, so I kind of, made it
fire
easier.
Resistant push shirt, yeah.
Yeah, fire resistant push shirt. But it wasn't that bad. I mean, the support that I got, across the board from people was fucking pretty rad. It was a novel experience. I highly do not suggest it from anybody. It's not suggested by
Fire
anyone.
hot.
But Carl.
Hey.
but keep in mind that I think any one of us, and I say us as a you, me, anybody in our community, they do the same thing. It's just reaction. I wouldn't say it's the best decision, but it happened, and it's nothing that you guys wouldn't do, or you wouldn't. I know you would do it. It's instinctive, and you black out, and it just happens. Kind of like when I used to win games. I have no idea how I did it.
You just turn around and you're on their side, and they're all walking off. You're like, I don't know.
That's kind of weird. I might have had a few hits on me, but those got away.
Well, yeah. If it was earlier, if it was later in the run through, who knows?
Nah, it's all relevant at that time.
See, but now you have cameras that dictate all that stuff, and it's like everything has to be so close now. So even the bam bam plays are like people will like live during normal game time. It's not a question, right? If it was close, it was like okay. But now everybody can give you shit because now in slow motion, it seems like it's so much worse than what it is.
Well, one thing I've noticed, with the transition of the game that you and I played. I mean, and I say you and I because we go back a while. A while does not mean a lot these days. The slow motion, I see a lot less cheating. The players have gotten better, So I look at the Archies and the Rabs and insert whatever mouse. I mean, insert any name here because there's so many people these days that just make amazing moves. And when you see that first goggle shot or the arm shot, they might get a couple more off and they just get, that's it. As opposed to, you better shoot me 17 times in the face before I shoot you back. And that's just reality. They get back the way it was.
Yeah.
The reffing gotten better. The video's gotten better. The players have gotten better. I mean, it's just an all-around progressive, positive thing for the sport. You don't see people like me used to get shot 17,000 times on a run-through, as opposed to, a few times now here and there. It was different. It was a different game back then. I mean, shooting 25 balls a second. You were there.
Oh, yeah. It was fun.
Rich shot me 1,000 times in one game. And him and I came to an agreement. Okay, let's not do that anymore. And, that was a truce. And, he respected that. So he shot me 25 times a game. But, the game has changed and you got to roll with it. The players, you yourself, you've stayed in fantastic shape. And look at Mouse. He was a skinny little kid back in the day. He's a monster now.
Yeah.
J-Rab, he's a specimen. Even Steve Rabikoff, who's like 75 years old right now. He was, But with that said, I mean, the players of the game, it's just changed. It's changed a little bit, and I'm happy to see where it's going.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and I really want to touch base on you with kind of what you think of the game now, especially because it is so different. Do you think that there's less cheating or the cheaters have gotten better?
I think that there's less cheating, but the cheaters have also gotten better. I mean, Billy Braccia. I mean,
are you talking about player getting better, or are you talking about cheating?
I'm talking about both. He's gotten better, and he's gotten better at cheating.
Yeah.
And I mean, because when you're in that booth with Maddie and Todd, and we see a lot from up in that booth, and
Mm-hmm.
doing the commentating, I really enjoy that. It's a part of the game, and I think it's brought a lot to it. Maddie, I don't think I've ever heard Maddie say or anything at any time in his life.
He's 4 sentences ahead.
For sure. But we see stuff in the booth. We're like, oh, there it is, and we're like, oh, no, it's not. And I'm not pointing Billy out, but I'm saying there's instances you would take advantage of it. I would take advantage of it. It's like football. If you're holding, you're holding. If you get caught, you get caught. If you don't, you don't. It's all relevant at that point. I do think the players have gotten better, and I think there's been less cheating. I do agree with that. Yeah. Because the refs have gotten better and the system has gotten better. So across the board, I think it's a positive across the board for everything. So. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I have a lot of takes on the way the game is now, and I think, as I'm sure you've heard, or if you've heard any of the podcasts, I'm sure you've heard, but I'm a big advocate of the 4 pods, trying to go back to semi-auto, but capping it, because I feel like the technology now is so much different than what it was with the uncapped boards and the aftermarket boards. But I think it needs to. It's in this weird state of. There's no more chaos. Like it's hard because paintball, I feel like is there needs to be a good amount of chaos to it, and I feel like it's kind of lost that luster of kind of you don't know what's going to happen next kind of a thing to more of a you're waiting for something to happen next, and I just don't know really what direction to take it.
I agree with that, and I've had this conversation with multiple people like Billy Saransky. Most of the old school people. I mean, I count you as old school, but not as old school as like Billy, myself, Shaner, Rich Telford.
Middle school
people. Yeah, exactly. This new mechanical thing they came out, like all the stuff that Eclipse is doing, MacDev, the cockers, like Danny loves cocker that he's putting out. I mean, I could shoot 10 balls a second with a cocker, no problem. I think that the ramping thing for a pro. Can I speak freely?
Absolutely.
Totally bullshit. It's pussy paintball. I mean, sack up. When I was younger, I used to shoot faster than most anybody. I
took pride in that.
But mechanicals, mechanicals that the revolution of electronic stuff made it even for somebody to shoot as fast as me. 14-year-old kids shoot 15 balls a second. I'm sorry, that does not make sense to me. So, but with the EMEC or the mechanical kind of revolution, I think it's cool. The capping and at whatever for ramping, I think that there should be a somewhat. I like the 4-pod thing because it keeps the kids from just sitting there and shooting 20 pods at a gap.
Mindless actions, pretty much.
It is mindless action.
Yeah.
I like the no coaching thing that they finally came out with no coaching, which helps. But I think I can see things reverting back to the way they were when you first started coming up and I first met you. You were like 4'5". You ran a 4.2 40. You probably still do.
Maybe I don't know.
But anyway, back in the day, I mean, it's reverting back to that because paint companies, and it comes down to sponsorship. How much money are these paint companies putting out in sponsorship dollars with people just shooting paint mindlessly, like you said? Because the paint companies, they run the whole industry. Yeah. And paint companies are going, that cost me a nickel, that cost me a nickel. And I think that it's kind of reverting back to let's reduce the sponsorship and let them shoot less paint. As much as it might be kind of an oxymoron, that's what's happening. And I agree with it. I think it makes the sport better. I mean, my fat ass can get out there and make a better movement finally because they're not shooting 25 balls a second. But that's the reality of the game.
Yeah, but I mean, if you think about it, and I was thinking about this too, was the reason of going to ramping and setting that standard, was that to try and save paint, or was that to try and even the playing board between the pro players to where if the guys who can't shoot for shit left-handed, now they can control a tape or whatever you want to call it with one finger shooting down a tape? Was it to kind of put a stop to the board industry, to the aftermarket board industry, or was it really to kind of cap guys off on shooting excess paint, which I think backfired in the long run?
I think it was a conglomerate of everything you just said. I think it was hey, let them shoot less paint because the pros. Let them, let's give the fat guys a chance, like me. Because I could never shoot you to begin with. That was 25 balls a second ago. No, that's realistically. And let's kind of think about this logically. I think it's kind of a combination of everything you had just mentioned. I think that paintball's in a transition where the viewership needs to be better. If you're shooting 20 balls a second, it's really hard to tell where that shot came from. With the statistics now that Matty Marshall is doing with the Go Sports thing, everything is a good transition, but it's been a work in progress getting there, and which includes ramping, which includes full auto, which includes less paint, which includes the slow-mo. There's a lot of things that go into the whole end result of where we're trying to get. And I think exactly what you said is exactly what we're trying to get at. So
yeah, it's where I'm hoping we're going to be, because I feel like shooting fast, being able to shoot left-handed, and then on top of that, being able to shoot it fast and control your marker and everything is a skill lost, is a skill set that we lost. And now with players that are able to ramp and control lanes that couldn't before because they couldn't shoot left-handed, now can do that, which I feel like it kind of hindered me because I prided myself in being able to shoot fast because I practiced that. I taught myself to shoot fast because actually in the time of the league of when we were playing, it was to your advantage if you could shoot fast. And I can honestly say that I never put a aftermarket board in my marker. I always shot a stock board. And I'm not speaking for everybody, but I always just set mine to semi-auto, and I learned that skill. And it paid off for me. And I feel like that's something that hasn't this ramping has given kids nowadays a false sense of confidence. I feel that they can do more than really what they can, or what they've really they haven't been able to comprehend that yet.
Oh, 100%, and I agree with you without question. I know this is hard to believe, but I never had a cheater board in my gun that I know of. I know people.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I know it happened. I was always really fast, but here's a good example. It comes down to gun skills. One person that really impressed me one time was Keith Brown. He was playing – God, who was he playing with? I can't remember. All I know is that this little shit got in a snake. I knew exactly where it was. I was like 10 feet from the kid. Mm-hmm. He stood up, shot me twice, and got down before I even knew what happened. And I was like – I cheated that game, by the way. But I was like, damn, that was amazing. Yeah. So I actually went to Keith Brown. It was during practice, so don't count. But I went to Keith, and I'm like, man, you're amazing, kid. And look at the kid now. He's killing it. Mm-hmm. That's just one example. There's a lot more examples. Alex, Mouse, yourself, you used to blow me to pieces every now and then. I cheat you all the time. But like I'm saying, the guns have definitely taken away from the technicality of being a paintball player. Because, yeah, I taught myself how to shoot fast. I think I was one of the first ones. Mm-hmm. Jeremy Somm was the first one to invent the two-step with the Angel back in the day. People don't really know that.
Really?
Oh, yeah. He was the first one to do it. It was in Paris, or Toulouse, actually. But the whole transformation of ramping and stuff, yes, it takes away from what the kids should be learning and to make the steps to get necessarily to where we were at that point. Mm-hmm. But I can see some transition now back to what we were doing back when we had to learn. Like the mechanical thing is coming around. ICC Open, Tim Montresor did a great job. Rennick did a great mechanical tournament. I'm going to Bay City Open up in San Francisco here soon.
Nice.
It's giving us a chance, fat old guys, a chance to get back in the game and have fun again. But I think there's a happy medium between the two. Getting back to your regular point about ramping, I think it should be semi-auto, and you should have to pull the trigger and do something. Yeah. Not just sit there, with your thumb in your ass, so to speak, and just shoot a lane. Yeah. 4 pods. I like the idea. I think it's great.
I think it'll be good.
It lasts me like 5 seconds, but I'm usually dead by then anyway, so it doesn't make a difference.
Either something's going really wrong, or I'm dead, or yeah.
Oh yeah.
Or on the other side of the field.
Really right though.
Or yeah, there is that. So I want to know. I'm so glad that I was able to get you on here, because you have been one of the most not only influential people for me in the sport as far as play style and just personality wise, but for the entire sport, for everybody. And I want to know, what was the beginnings like? Where did you come from? How did you find paintball? Why was paintball it for you, and why has it stuck around for so long?
Well, here's a little known fact that people know about me. So I grew up. My dad was a nuclear engineer, and so I traveled around a lot. Taiwan, insert anything here. So he finally worked at NASA in Cape Canaveral. So Kelly Slater and I grew up together. Went to high school together. Actually, sixth grade through high school. So we served together all our lives. Sean Slater, Carol, all those guys. So I had a really cool high school year.
Nice.
And I never really got into like drinking and drugs or whatever. And what happened was my dad, being with NASA, they had a team building thing, and it was like 85, I think. And it was paintball. And that's how I got out there. I shot my dad, shot my mom, which is exhilarating. And from there, I was like, I just fell in love with it. And what had happened was I kind of dedicated myself to paintball. And my grandma bought my first gun, or I had a Tippmann SMG 60, which is a machine gun. Couldn't hit a damn thing with it if you wanted to, but it sounded cool. And then my grandma bought me a sniper, the first sniper one from Bud Orr. And that was my first real gun. And then I kind of played with Dune Troopers and blah, blah, blah. Went in the military out of high school.
Really?
And Colorado. Yeah. I was in the military for 4 years.
What part of the military? I
was in the Army. I worked at NORAD for 4 years, actually.
Nice.
So I was a smart guy for some reason. I'm not sure what happened there. But I started with Easy Company. We turned into we played 80s, 84, 86, Dallas. That's when Spud from Aftershock smacked me in the face. And I was on suspension for a while, which is a long story.
So before that, how did you discover paintball?
My parents, like I said,
I'm sorry. Like, how did that become a tournament thing? Like the tournament side, how did that come about?
You know what? It didn't really come to tournament thing until I went to Colorado in the military. We played the Mile High Series, which is like 13,000 feet on Pikes Peak. Mm-hmm. And I was in the military back then. We did well, and I'm like, hey, let's go play a national tournament. And I met Ed Portman because I was driving home to my grandma's house. Met him in Nebraska, and him and I sparked up a friendship. And then we created Easy Company and went to Dallas, which was one of the first MPPLs. And then it just transpired into Avalanche, what happened in Pittsburgh. I think it was 94 or 96. And we got third, I think, that event. And it all snowballed from there. I mean, it was such a whirlwind. It's hard to explain exactly how it happened. Mm-hmm. But it did, and it was probably the best thing that ever happened to me. I stayed, I had a good friendship. We traveled the world. How many places have you and I gone to in the world? I tell people where I've been. They thought I was DEA for a while because I disappear for like 3 weeks and then come back with a lot of money. And I get it. I mean, the business I was in, I threw parties back then, and they were like, oh, yeah, he's DEA. And I'm like, I can see that, But,
so is that were you a promoter back then while you were playing?
Yeah, so I would throw events at like Red Rocks. We did parties like Global Dance Fest at Red Rocks. I think I was a stage manager for Together as One in LA, like 60,000 people. It was a great experience. Yeah, I've been around. I'm sure that most of the ladies, and that I've been around a little bit. Thank God I'm married now, and I'm happily married.
Yes, congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you. But it was a good experience across the board. I mean, my life with Richmond and Talia took really good care of me. Gino Poserivo took really good care of me. I'm with Push now with Brian Benini, so it's not really a secret, but everything's going really good. Paintball has been really good to me. The pinnacle of why I came back in the fashion I am right now is because my accident. I mean, I'm sure you're going to bring it up with the fire and everything. Mm-hmm. The support that I had got from the paintball community, it was great, to be honest with you. And I need to get back, at the end of the day. So
yeah, man. It shows not because you're so emotional, it shows just how much it's not a community. It's like a big family, and we care so much about each other, and this sport means so much more than just a weekend thing.
And yeah, you're right, man. I mean, getting back to that, it was, the support was amazing, and I'm like, I can't go away. So here I am, and I'm back, and Danny Love with his son with autism.
Mm-hmm.
I play with his gun. I don't think he's going to get it back because I'm going to keep it. But Danny Love is a pioneer of the sport. His son has autism, and we all stick together. If I didn't talk to you for 2 or 3 years, I can call you out of the blue and go, "Hey man, what's going on?" And we have a drink or have lunch or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just the way that paintball is. And I'd kind of shied away from that because I was kind of disgruntled a little bit over a few things. But what I'd found was that it never goes away. And if you call on your friends and the community, that they come running. And that's just the way it is. So I'm here to stay, and that's hope you like me. If you don't,
yeah. Yeah, no. I mean, it's amazing how everybody pulled together for you, and I think rightfully so. I think in probably many ways that you don't even realize you've impacted a lot of people on and off the field, and I'm glad you're back, man. I really am.
Well, I appreciate that. I hope I get a chance to shoot the shit out of you one time.
Bring it on, baby.
Actually, don't you play with us?
For what?
For the Gunfighters? Don't you play the Gunfighters?
Yeah, I played a 10-man with them earlier in the year. But,
okay, well, we need a fast guy because I'm definitely not that guy anymore.
Yeah, I'm down, man. Next year, I definitely want to play Tim's thing. I want to play a tournament at Badlands, some kind of 10-man thing. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, Tim Montrester did a great job. I'm sure you guys saw me on the Go Sports thing.
Mm-hmm.
You got GI Sports coming in hot, Richmond, Italia, all Steve, Billy, all those guys. I mean, it's such a good thing that's going on across the board. Mechanical is coming back. You see a lot of big guys. I saw people at ICC that I have not seen in, God, man, 5-10 years. Will was out there. Will Rock.
Yeah.
So good to see the guy, man. And it's having you as a part of the voice for everybody is very productive. Push Paintball, like I said, I'm with now is doing big things, and the support we're getting from a lot of teams and people is amazing. So we really do appreciate that. Danny Love, and I can go on for days. But the evolution of the sport is definitely not faltering anywhere. Go Sports, the NXL with Richmond and Barton, everybody on that side of the fence is doing. The mechanical series. There's a lot of series going on, Mike Hinman and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everything's very positive production and progressiveness for what's going on right now.
Yeah, it's good, and hopefully we can continue to grow and continue going forward and up, and make it bigger than it ever could. I mean, that's at least my goal.
No, well, I mean, with your help, obviously, you're doing a great thing. And I think with you and people like you, I think that the progression of the sport is going to be there. So, I'm always here for you. You know that.
I appreciate that, man.
Yes, sir.
You were one of my favorite markers that I ever owned was a black to yellow Chris Lasoya Intimidator.
Should I get that right now? Actually, I got a funny story for you.
Yeah.
The black and yellow, that thing. Oh man, that was Infamous's death toll. I think I had a gun that shot probably 75 balls a second.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a black and yellow Intimidator. So that was you always have the one gun that you wish you had back. So I got a call from a friend of mine, Chris Kim. Cheech, obviously. Do you know Cheech from Chicago?
Yeah.
He sent me a text. He's like, "Hey man, I'm sending you something." That's usually never good from him. It's usually like a warrant or some child support papers or something. But what showed up in the mail was my old yellow and black Intimidator, and
your personal one.
My personal one, and I was like, "Are you serious?" And I was pretty much in tears. I mean, I'm a very emotional person, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Did you really send me this?" And he's like, "Yeah, man. I found it from some person, and they had sent me they sent him the gun, and he sent it to me, and it was probably the best thing I've got in a long time in the mail, besides my extradition papers. But that's something we'll talk about later. No, but just seriously, he sent me this gun, and I was very impressed that he had sent me the gun. So it's his birthday today, so shout out to Cheech.
Oh, nice.
He's like 75, but he's Asian, so you really can't. But yeah, that yellow Intimidator, man, those things were gnarly.
Yeah. Yeah, it was nasty. It was pretty slick. I mean, not only did it shoot well, but the design of it looked really well. Did you have any part of that as far as design work goes or anything?
Yeah. Bob and I, we went back and forth quite a few times. We had talked about this and that. Came out with a few prototypes. I've seen a few prototypes out there that are like silver and like unpolished metal.
Yeah.
But him and I came to we used to have actually some forks in the back of it that if you fell, it would stab you in the arm. So we kind of had to get rid of those because I remember the first prototype I had, I think it stabbed me in the arm.
Yeah.
And it drew like a lot of blood. So I think that was a fail. We had to actually fix that. So we actually, cut the devil tails off and, the streamlined design. Yeah. That was a lot of Bob with my direction. I mean, I kind of said, this is what I want, but Bob was a genius. He did a really good job designing the gun, and I mean, internals it is what it is. And we also had the Tadao board in there, which shot insane, but that was the market to have back in the day. It was kind of the pinnacle of the transformation from Angel to Intimidator to the new markers now, like Eclipse has. Eclipse does a great job. MacDev does a great job. They all do a great job. It's all personal preference, I think, at this point.
So how did you know that specific one was your personal marker?
I originally had the Elements Angel back in the day. I'm not sure. Were you around back then with the Elements Angel?
I started playing in 2002 and started playing pro in 2004.
Okay. Let me
I think you think I'm older than what I actually am.
So when you were born, I actually had this gun called the Angel. That's a joke, by the way. So I was with the Angel, and then it ran its course. The infamous the World Cup Jeremy Psalm thing kind of happened. I'm sure everybody knows about that.
Oh, I've heard it.
And then I literally walked into Gino's trailer and said, "Hey, man, you want me?" And he's like, "Yep." I'm like, "Well, this is what I got." And then he was with Bob Long because Bob Long made those Intimidators at the time. And then myself and Bob Long and Gino sat down and said, "Let's make a Lasoya Intimidator." Made Lasoya Intimidator, and the rest is history. That was still to this day, I think, the best gun I shot ever.
No.
Eclipse really close second, MacDev really close second as well. But that Intimidator kind of changed my life personally, financially, and changed my life as far as induction into the public eye, because Gino did a really marketing job, $1 Million Man kind of thing. Way before Ollie made the $100,000 on I was making way more than that 3 years prior to that. But we didn't really make it public because it wasn't
that. And that was without social media or anything too.
There was no social media back then. I had a flip phone, for God's sake, like I didn't. But look at Oliver. We all had our place in time. You did, I did, Alex, Oliver. The one thing I do see these days about paintball is you don't see that one person that kind of just sticks in your mind. Maybe J-Rab, Justin. But how many players? Dixon Yang, Archie, Colt Roberts. But there's not a lot of those players that just are etched in your mind that are at that player. I think the one thing that has changed with paintball is back when we were younger, the companies had molded players to market them as a tool to sell product and whatnot.
Yeah.
I don't think the companies these days are focusing on that as much as they were back then. I mean, you get the Mouses, you see very few personal guns out these days, one here and there, but I think overall they're focusing on teams, which I'm not saying is a bad marketing idea because players come and go.
Right.
But at the end of the day, I think people, gravitated towards people like yourself, people like Oliver, Alex, Ryan Greenspan. They gravitated towards those players, and they'll buy a hat because of this guy. They'll buy a gun because of that guy.
Players aspired to be like that. I mean, it was very pro-like, and I feel like those players felt like professional players at the time. You know, and now
no, that's 100% right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think I don't disagree with it, but I think that it's gotten away from that. It's more of a team-driven thing now. Mm-hmm. And financially, as a sponsorship person that I am, that I think that financially running money towards a team as opposed to a certain player that could get really good and then leave is a good decision financially as a company. But people look at LeBron James. They look at this insert name here. And they aspire to be that person, which then in turn drives sales to Eclipse, Die. Mostly Push, because everybody buys Push now. Yeah. But you know what I'm saying. I mean, you've been there. You've been a sponsor player for a long time, and you've been very dedicated. And it's very hard to find a person like you that's dedicated to a sponsor as opposed to a team. Let's say a team changes sponsorship. As a player, you're dedicated to the sponsor, so you'll leave that team to go play with another team that is sponsored by that sponsor. Yeah. So, and that's hard to find these days. So.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate to do work with Planet throughout the years, and a lot of the companies that I've worked with throughout the years, and going to your point about sponsoring individual players, or not necessarily sponsoring individual players, but maybe pushing a few players out into the spotlight in one way or another. I feel like they would have more incentive now with social media to be pushing some players more than others or whatnot, because they can self-promote along with, while they're doing that, they can promote company X or whatever along with that, while pushing the team that they play for or whatever as well, because whatever team that player is pushing as far as company wise, that the team is shooting the same thing. It's not like this guy's wearing a certain set of shoes, but he's on the same team with this guy who wears a different set of shoes, and this, but they're all shooting the same markers, they're all wearing the same pants, they're all doing this the same, and this the same. So it's like, it's very hard to, I don't know why it's hard not to, to be able to do that. It's a different time, but I feel like it's more time than better now to be able to push those guys, because they can help promote said company.
Well, it's much easier that Richmond owns everything now. So
is that a good thing or a bad thing, though?
I think it's a good thing. I mean, back when I was with Die, or JT. Mm-hmm. So JT made our barrels for Avalanche. We wear their goggles. We were sponsored by Die Barrels. Every company back when I was back in the day, whatever you want to call it, there was a barrel company. There was a goggle company. There was a jersey and pants company. There was a paint company. So you could be sponsored by 4 different companies at the same time. Mm-hmm. Now, there's one company that owns everything as a conglomerate. So do I think it's better? Financially for the companies like GI Sports, Empire, whatever, insert anything on the umbrella, Titman there. Yeah, it's easier for them because it's one sponsorship to the one team, and they force those teams into wearing their goggles, their pants, their jerseys, shooting their paint, and their guns for that matter. Mm. Is it good for some teams? Yeah, it's good for some teams. Is it bad for others? Yeah, it's bad for others, because you're not getting the money you're getting from a goggle company at X, a gun company at Z, or a pants and jersey company at Y. Yeah. So you're not getting the $50,000, $60,000, $80,000 in cash. As Infamous, we were getting combined. We were getting $200,000 in cash a year. Yeah, cash. This doesn't count pants, jerseys, paint. So overall, our sponsorship when we started rolling over, it was $300,000 a year, which is insane. Yeah, insane amount of money. You can't get that these days, because in 2008 the economy took a shit, as we all know. Sponsorship goes from 2,000 to 1,000, or I'm sorry, 2 million to 1 million to 500,000 a year, and the companies were realizing that, hey, we're still making the same amount of money, but our bottom line is different. So we're making more money, and our name's already established. So we have to give less sponsorship out now. And what they found out was that they can continue doing that up until this date and still make the same amount of money, which kind of screwed up the sponsorship in a way. So they're giving one or two teams the same amount of money that they were supposed to give 15 teams.
Yeah.
So did it cause a problem financially with the decrease in paintball, but an increase in their bottom line? Yes. But did it hurt paintball in the process? In my opinion, absolutely it did. Because you're not sponsoring the teams to get there.
Right. And then see, that's my question now, is because, I think showing where the economy is showing, at least for paintball, is how many teams are involved again, at these tournaments, how many players are involved again at the local fields and all this. And, I've heard nothing but really good numbers from everywhere. I mean, Tom Cole was just on GI Live not that long ago, and he said paintball is bigger than it's ever been. But yet the NXL is still paying out for pro players still $12,000, and there's still sponsorships that are very minimal because the economy is bad or was bad or something like that. And these teams have no say. They have no say in whatever happens. It's either you have a sponsorship and you're going to go head to toe this, or we're not going to work with you and you're going to shoot our paint on top of that. But I think it was so beneficial back in the day, like you were saying. You had a goggle company, and then this, and then combined, everything worked out. All the companies worked together. But now all these companies have these packages, and it's so hard because if you don't, let's say on a personal level, let's say you have 7 guys on a 10-man team that really enjoy a push goggle. But yet they can't get sponsorship X because you have to wear head to toe this, and it seems like a too good to pass deal. And now they might have missed something where they could have combined this and this and this and this because there's so many blanketed sponsorship deals instead of individual deals.
Well, and I agree with that. I do agree with that. Like Richmond and Steve and Billy and those guys and Opie. They're providing a good deal for teams like the Imperial program.
Oh, I'm not shitting on them. I'm just trying to say what it is.
But I'm saying I think it's a great deal. However, but you have people like Mike Hinman making really good paint right now. Mm-hmm. He took over APX making really good paint. He doesn't do goggles. I do. He doesn't do bags. I do. He doesn't do guns. I'm working out some deals with other gun companies that we can influx into the deal. So we're reverting back on my side of things, my sponsorship, because I only do bags and goggles. That's it at this point. So I can go to these other people like the paint people, and I can go to the like the other people, gun people, and say, look, let's make a package deal. So we're reverting back to what I had started with, saying support sponsorship. I'll give you bags and goggles, they'll give you paint, and they'll give you guns. Mm-hmm. Here's your deal. Goggle pants and jerseys or whatever. Anthrax is kicking in. So there's companies out there, and the deals are still out there. So people are not subjected to just being stuck into a one deal like the GI or Empire or whatever, which is a good deal for some people. It's fine, but there are options out there. I give good deals on goggles and pants, and goggles, jerseys, pants, guns, and paint and whatever you want to. Yeah. But you just gotta have the right resume, and you gotta be realistic about what your sponsorship is worth. A lot of these teams are coming in saying, "Yeah, I'm D5. I need everything for free." Well, you're fucking crazy. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'll give you support. I'd love you to wear my stuff, but let's be realistic about the numbers. If you're winning every tournament, Division 4 at the NXLs, yeah, that's a great idea. I can help you out with that. But if you're playing the AFPS, GS, CPL, 17-5, XFL, whatever you want to call it, and you're getting 4th place as a Division 4 team, it's let's be realistic. I'm not going to give you that much. I'll help you out because I want to, but sponsorship these days, you got to be realistic about your team and where you're going and what your plans are for the future.
Right. And you know what? I think what makes things grow and get better is competition. And I think for even companies, this company has a product and they have it set and made it to this whole thing, and then company B comes in and they make that thing a little bit better, and then a little bit better, and a little bit better, and a little bit better, and then that's competition is good. That's what we need, and that's what I love seeing at old paintball tournaments, was that we had multiple companies competing against each other to make the best product there is. There was no slacking on, if you made a shitty pant, people would know, and they would go over to this other company.
Yeah, I think I've replaced like probably 20 pants a year over the day.
Yeah.
Serious, that's being serious. I swear
dude,
God,
I believe you, because I do the same thing.
It's terrible. Like, I'm like, dude, Carl, would you please stop breaking shit?
I'm throwing myself into the ground.
I remember that specifically. I'm sorry, but go ahead.
Dude, I can't help it. I'm the one that has to go test the shit by.
Oh, Carl, get out.
How are you supposed to know if it's gonna tear if you don't have somebody go actually tear it?
Get fat and just tear it sitting down. That's how you do shit. Not trying to kill yourself.
You got to test those high-speed seams.
Get the fuck out of here. God, I'm gonna puke now. Anyway, but no, you're right though. I mean, it takes a test market. And you're right. The challenge of all the companies getting together, it does help. It does help it out.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the end of the day, GI is not going to sponsor everybody. We want to help everybody out. I started with JT. My first sponsorship was $5,000 a year. Chuck Hench and JT gave me my first sponsorship. I was stoked.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do with it. I bought beer and liquor, but I mean, that's back in the day. Now these kids, they're making, who knows how much money they're making. I don't even know. But the competition part of it fuels the sponsors and the economy to progress, to make paintball better. If a team, one of my questions for sponsoring a team is, are you associated with a store or a field? If they're associated with a field or a store, I say, okay, hey, let me give this store 15% off or whatever it might be to subsidize the cost for this team. So the store makes their money, the team gets their sponsorship, and then everybody's happy. Because one thing I'm seeing, personally, is I'm seeing these stores struggling because these teams are going outside the box and behind the back of the stores, and they're getting sponsorship, and then that's cutting them out of the deal. They're not making money. So what I try to do personally as a sponsor from Push is to help the stores out support these teams, which then in case supports the store. So it's a win-win for everybody. Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily always a winner for us as a sponsor, but I think it helps the store stay in business, because I've seen a lot of stores not doing so well lately.
Yeah, it's growing everything all around,
yes, sir.
Together. So there's so I want to go back to something that you kind of touched on a little bit, and it was that World Cup with Jeremy Saul. But then you also had mentioned just after that it was that you had then went and talked to another sponsor, like you were done with the team. So so you were with Avalanche, winning tournaments. I mean, you guys were riding the high horse. Everything was happening like it should for you guys. World Cup comes along. I don't know the entire story. I've only heard it from bits and pieces from different people, and everybody has a million different stories. What happened? Did you know? And how did that affect you on how you looked at a team, at teammates, and trust?
I knew you were going to ask me that question. I knew you were. Did I know about it? No, I did not know about it. It was talked about amongst everybody. It was hey, what if? I'm like, that might work, if we really need it, and I'm not going to lie. But the time I knew it was going to happen is when I turned around and on the breakout, and Ed Portman was behind me, and Jeremy Somm was supposed to be my back guy at the time. Yeah. And I was like, oh shit, this is really happening. So did I know it was actually happening? No, I didn't know. I didn't know it was happening. And it probably shouldn't have happened because we were whooping their ass anyway. Mm-hmm. But it happened. I'll back my boy up, Jeremy, for, taking one for the team all day. It was a very unfortunate situation. It happened. And, I'm not sure exactly who knew about it. I think Ed did. I'm not really sure. I don't think many people did. I don't think many other people did. I think that if I could say I knew about it, did I know it was going to happen? I didn't think it was going to happen, but it did. And I look back at it, and it was kind of a blessing in disguise, to be honest with you. Because what eventually happened was I broke my Nextel flip phone, which is back in the day. And I went to Gino. I took all the best players that I had. And we fucking created a new team. And we whooped everybody's ass for years. So, I mean, was it a bad thing? No, I don't think so. I think it was a good thing. It was a good positive thing. Mm-hmm. The person I think that got fucked the most out of it was Jeremy. He's still to this day one of my best friends. I still talk to him all the time. He's very supportive over everything that I do or everything that happened to me. And, if I had to do it all over again, fuck yeah. Absolutely I would. Everything worked out for the better, man. Everything worked out for the better. I got Brian Fowl, Jeremy, we're still friends. Travis, John Richardson, which is a badass. Mm-hmm. We dominated the industry for how long? It was a long time. Miami Effect and the real Miami Effect, mind you. Yeah. And Infamous. And we had a great run. So I have zero regrets.
Yeah. Yeah. And that specific event blossomed into Miami Effect, which in turn turned into Infamous.
Well, and the whole NXL thing started out of the whole bullshit PSP kind of stuff. That's why the NXL existed in the first place. So we were Miami Effect back then. Davey Williamson was there, Andy Kopchak, a lot of good players, Rusty Glaze. And what had happened was they had segregated us from playing the MPPL. Dynasty at the time played the MPPL, and they were dominating everybody because there was no competition over there. Mm-hmm. All the good teams were playing NXL at the point. And then
that's what made Dynasty blow up, I think. I mean, don't get me wrong. Dynasty was a powerhouse.
100%. Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
But I think that put them
dominating. They won 25 tournaments in a row because there was nobody else playing over there. And then I think I got pissed off one day, and I'm like, I'm going to go kick their ass because I was pissed. And they said, well, if you leave the NXL, then you're banned from the NXL. I'm like, okay, fuck off. And I left. So we went and played, Tampa? Mm-hmm. We won Tampa, went to Denver.
That was sick,
Denver.
By the way.
Yeah.
Was that 2006 Tampa?
I lost track of everything after 98. Sorry. No, I'm just kidding.
That was the whole scene in Serial Killers, which you're seeing in that whole video.
Raymond James. Raymond James was that was the most crazy thing in my life is because my sister had just had Raymond James, who's my older nephew, total badass, by the way. Mm. And he had just been born, and I woke up from a nap, and this is a true story. Woke up from a nap and opened my eyes and saw a Raymond James Stadium sign. I'm like, I'm gonna whoop this ass. And we went out there, won the tournament, and it was probably my favorite win of all time. I'm not gonna lie, that was great. Denver was good, because we had Be Real doing the after party. Were you there for that? I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
Either can I. It was a good one. But no, the Raymond James story with the Tampa tournament was a pinnacle changing point for the leagues, because after that they let all the leagues coincide and play together. Mm-hmm. We were the odd man out, so we weren't allowed back in the NXL for some reason. But we opened the door for other people to play other tournaments, which in turn kind of opened up paintball in general for a lot of people that could not have experienced both 7-man as well as NXL.
Yeah. So. Now, I want to touch a little bit on your play style because, like I was saying before, you were kind of the godfather to me for run-throughs. I mean, I think you were the one as far as style goes and just finding the seam. I would probably say finding the seam better to be able to blow open games, or even just create. You were just create things and make them happen. Big influence on me on that part. Who who did you watch coming up and playing the game ahead of you? Who did you watch and get influence from? And and then how do you see those? How did you see those things, and how did you create the moment?
Well, with me going into the sport, I was at the transition at my height with transition from the woods to airball. So when I was growing up, I guess you can call them heroes. I guess if you want to call them, but the people I watched the most were Shane Pastana. Um, it was Brian Benini in Dallas one year walked me down. It was the most insane move I've seen in a long time. Shot me in the side of the head and just smiled at me. I wanted to beat his ass, but I was too young at the point. Daryl Trent's intensity. He was a psycho. And then I kind of said that I'm gonna be that guy. I'm gonna be the person that people want to know about. I'm gonna be that guy that puts my memory in their mind and don't forget. And the transition of paintball back then went from the woods to airball, which got a lot fast, or hyperball. Mm-hmm. I actually played with Bonsai Bandits overseas for a long time with Jacko and Leds, and that's how I got in with the Eclipse guys. And then Jacko and I had built the first hyperball field at the World Cup behind Old Town. I think this might be before your time. I can't remember what year it was, to be honest with you. Yeah. I almost cut my leg off, to be honest with you, with a chainsaw, which is a great story. Jesus. But I played with Washington Rain that tournament. We got second. That was Jeremy Solomon, John Richardson, Mark Knopp. Yeah, so we got second that tournament. The first year I used the Angel. And then Richmond was one of my best friends. Still is, actually. He invented X-Ball. And for some reason, I was just that aggressive. I'm going to, blow your face off and shoot 5 of you and hang the flag kind of person. Mm-hmm. And I took my style off of Shane, off of Daryl, off of Brian, the younger fast players that were back in the day. But it was a lot different back in the trees, So I kind of invented my own thing, and somehow I was blessed and ended up where I am. I'm a very blessed person for some reason. I'm not sure why. But, it's just having people like yourself, or anybody for that matter, say, hey, you're a legend, or you taught me this and taught me that. It kind of makes my life complete. I'm not sure exactly how I learned what I learned, but it just happened. So here we are.
Yeah, I took that. I liked you and Rocky. I didn't really follow Avalanche too much, but Avalanche was full of characters, so it was kind of something that you couldn't ignore.
He's a badass, man. I love that guy.
And from both of you guys, I took away that you just enjoy the close quarters battles. You enjoyed getting really close to where like you could hear the other gun because it was so close, and you could just feel how, like me, I could never play back. I always liked to try and get as
really. Okay.
I like to try and get as close as I can with as many. I mean, which probably isn't the greatest strategy, but I like to get as close as I can, physically possible, to the other team while they still have the most amount of bodies possible. Because that's, with me just moving down the field and them all still being alive, is just a small little subtle like fuck you, shoot me, And I like if you guys have 5 people alive and I'm already at the 50, then you're already fucking up. So,
yeah.
So now I can go to work.
You're like me, and this is what I love about you, and I love this, and I've always loved this about you, and a couple other people, but you, and people remember when you shoot 5 people. Mm-hmm. People don't remember when you get shot in the break.
Yeah.
So I mean, and I've seen you get in spots before. I think I played with you on Shock, and I've seen you shot 5 people before I even load my second pod, and I'm like, oh, that was easy. But
yeah.
You take risk, make risk.
Right.
People remember that the times that you shoot the 3, 4, 5 people, and when you hurt somebody, because I'd go out there all the time to hurt somebody. Yeah. I'd want to see somebody curl on the ground in pain, just to make my day better. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that's a great quality in a person, just my great quality. But I'm saying though, it's just the thrill, and I think that you've had a lot of reflection on a lot of these kids these days. Remember Crunchy from Iron Man?
Yeah.
That little kid was fast.
Mm-hmm.
He was like 4'2", great player. Look at Oliver. Oliver one time said to me, I want to be like you. And he was like 15 on the Iron Man. I used to whoop his ass all the time. And he said to me one day, I want to be like you. And sure as shit, that kid was whooping my ass on a daily basis, all the time. And it's just, it all, like, you're a very mental person. Put your mind to something. If you really want to be it, people like yourself, Oliver, myself, we're very approachable. If you want to know something, just ask. I will tell you how to do it better. I have no problem sharing my information or my experiences with you, even if it's life experiences, because we've been through some life shit. We all have. And we're all very approachable. Just come talk to us and say, hey man, ask a question. No question is going to be weird. We've heard it all.
Right.
So
there was so I want to throw kind of more praise your way. It was 2007. I was playing for Avalanche at the time, and we were playing in Denver, and I believe it was against Joy Division. I think, if I can remember right. And you were in the commentating booth. And after I had went back and watched the game and heard your commentary, you had said something that like really resonated with me. And when you said that, I was like, I felt like I kind of made it, like and you had said that I had made one of the best moves that you have ever seen. And I went up the middle and I kind of like stopped for a second and hesitated, and I did a quick run through, and then I think I shot like 4 or 5 guys. And you said that, and I was like, it's like it's getting a compliment from one of the guys that you looked up to and that you wanted to be, like like Oliver said, it's you want to be, and that was like a moment where I kind of stepped back and I was like, what I'm doing actually means something. And to have somebody like yourself say that was what it made all the weekends and the bullshit and the blood and the sweat and the tears like come to fruition and mean something. You know what I mean? And
if I said it, I definitely meant it, because I'm a total asshole. If you suck, I'm going to be like, that guy's fucking terrible. Yeah. And I appreciate that, but I've heard just as many people say that about you as well. We're all it's all a domino effect. I can make somebody's life better, which results in your life better, it results in somebody else's life better. And I want people, like you said, like you saying this right now really means a lot to me. Because it means I accomplished something that we all should strive for. We shouldn't strive to be selfish. We should all strive to be the next person that is influential in a positive manner to the younger kids of the day, because there's a lot of bullshit going on right now. I'm not saying that I'm the poster child for, being a role model, because I've done what I've done and I am who I am. But, as I get older, you want to pass this along, to people like you are very well now, that, these younger kids, they got to understand that there's a lot better things in life than bullshit, drugs, or insert any negative thing here. Paintball is a gateway for all of us to just be happy, because I'm stoked. I mean, I've had the best life ever. I met people like yourself. We know everybody, so I smile on a daily basis, and I'm very blessed to even be friends with a lot of different people, including yourself. So I hope this accentuates to a lot of people and expresses our happiness to what we're trying to do and accomplish in this way.
Yeah. And the thing is, what's great about paintball is that we know each other, but it's not like we talk, whenever we see each other is at the tournaments every 4 months or whatever it is throughout how many years. So, we have seen each other less than we have seen each other actually. But the camaraderie and just the love is so huge,
Well, you're a phone call away, bro. I mean, what you hit me up like last week. I mean, I don't. I'm like, who? I'm like, hey guys, sorry, I lost this number. Who's this? I mean, but I changed my numbers for the FBI on occasion, so I got to kind of transfer that shit.
Understandable.
But like you said, perfect example. I don't have to talk to you for 4 months, but yeah, you can call me up out of the blue, and we never skip a beat.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Jeremy, I'm still one of my best friends. Like, I got to say it again. Like, he'll call me up, boom, every 6 months or randomly here and there. And it's like, we don't skip a beat at all. Not even a little bit. Brian Bonini, Mark Knopp, we talk, and it's like, we never skip a beat, man. It's the way we are. And you cannot find that in today's society because everybody is so stuck up their ass on social media. There's no social interaction. Right. So being at a tournament actually helps that.
Yeah. Yeah. Face to face has gone to FaceTime.
And speaking of faces, you don't age at all, man. What the fuck's up with that?
Dude, it's the lighting. It's the lighting and the effect on the camera.
Shut up, Carl. Get out of here, bro.
I got a haircut, and that might be it.
I shaved about 5 minutes ago before we got on the thing, so I could look a little skinny. Anyway, so what else you got, man?
I have just being a dad, man. We got a little 2.5-year-old here. Got one on the way, and just living life. Is it a girl? It is a girl.
Sucker. That's the next one too. I'm sure your wife hears me.
Yeah, no, well, she's upstairs. But we were kind of doing this thing where it's like, you know what? It would be so beneficial if we had another boy because we kept all the other boy clothes and we have all this shit when he was a baby, and it would be so beneficial. Oh, it's a girl? We have to get all new stuff? Okay. That sounds about right for my luck.
I'll text you this later. My dad told me one time, he goes, you know what? You only have to worry about one thing if you have a boy. But I'll text you the answer to that question when I get off the phone.
Oh, I know what it is. I know.
You know what it is?
Yep.
Okay. So you heard that one. Oh, you're from Ohio.
Yeah.
So you know that one. Then.
I know that one.
I'm from Iowa, man. So you only have to worry about one thing when it's a boy.
Exactly. Yeah. Multiple things when it's a girl.
If you ever need me again, my friend, I love you to death. You're a true inspiration, and I love you to death, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, are you have to head out?
No.
Oh.
Let's give it a go.
Okay, yeah, I thought you were signing off. I was like, wait, hang on.
Get some. Oh, hold on. Time out. You can ask a question. I got to get something. Hold on.
No worries.
1 second. I can still hear you.
So I can't talk shit about you while you're gone.
You can talk shit about me all you want.
I think somebody was trying to put a bet on your ponytail, was going to try to cut it off at one point.
Oh.
There you go.
Good luck with that. However, I say this to everybody. I think I've told you this. If you cut my ponytail off, you better hang on to what you cut it off with, because I'm going to take it from you and stab you in the face with it. That is a given. And anybody that knows me knows that's the truth, without question.
There's magic in that tail.
Oh, no. Yeah. I'm not sure what it is, but it kept me alive this long.
So let's talk about let's talk about push.
Okay.
So why push? Why now?
So push. So Brian and I had talked a while back. Brian and Mark Knopp, and I'll show that again in a second. Mm-hmm. So Brian had come to me a while ago about, hey man, I got this new goggle coming out, blah blah blah. And I was out of paintball at this point. I was over it. I'm like, I've been fucked over enough, blah, blah, blah. And he says, well, let me show you what I got. And Mark Knopp and I, we had sat down one day, and I saw the goggle. And I saw it. I was like, dude, this is amazing. This is insane. Yeah. And the goggle, I'm sure that most of you guys have saw. It has a lot of good attributes. It has a, adjustable nose. It's a goggle. Let's be realistic.
Adjustable nose for the bridge of the nose.
Yeah. So if you put an Allen wrench in here, you can actually adjust the nose bridge if you have a bigger nose or not.
So that hole is actually functional.
Yeah, this hole is functional. It actually has a screw inside of it, so it adjusts the nose bridge out a little bit. So you have a big nose, right? Feet, which I guess whatever. Is that your wife?
No, I was displaying my my
your
shot.
Nose. It's very symmetrical. So it adjusts the bridge of the nose a little bit. It helps a little bit with the breathability. I put them to the test at ICC. I've worn them here and there, But I played ICC, and it was like 1,000,000 degrees out, 99% humidity. I was dying, mind you. Goggles never fogged once. Never had any problems with anything. So the goggles themselves are absolutely insane. You know, they breathe well. They look good.
They are pretty slick.
They are amazing. But with the colorways we have coming out with, you know, the lenses, just across the board, everything is amazing with the goggles themselves. So, you know, it's just something that appeased me, and I wouldn't come back into paintball industry unless I believed in somebody like Brian. Mm-hmm. I've been friends with the guy. He sponsored me with Dye, with Dave back in the day, and he's just always been that dude. Very, very smart guy. And he just was the epitome of what I wanted to come back with. With my injury and the paintball community, it was just a match made in heaven at the end of the day.
Yeah.
The bags are sick. We can't keep anything in stock, man. Like it's great. It's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
You know, we have all the masks being sold, all the goggles. I mean, all the bags being sold. Infamous is one of our star team. AC Dallas is in there.
Do you guys sponsor any podcasts or anything?
You know, I mean, you know, if you wear our goggles, I will.
I'll wear the goggles while I'm doing a podcast.
I'm not sure if our screw goes out that far for your nose, but you like that one?
Nice.
I got jokes. But anyway, like for instance, like this bag, this is like our new.
Is that a cooler?
Yeah, it's a cooler.
Nice.
And if people know me, I need this because I need to keep my beer warm all day.
Yeah.
But the bags and the goggles are where we're at. You know, Brian Benini, Mark Knott overseas. Tim Summers. We have Teddy. You remember Teddy Kanua from Washington Rain?
No.
Little short pineapple guy, doesn't have much hair.
I'm so much more of a visual person. I bet if I saw him, I knew exactly who it was.
Okay, let me. Okay, if this was Teddy, he'd be about this tall. So, yeah, visual person.
Nice.
But no, you know, we got a great team over here. Matt Schuster, you know Matt Schuster, right?
Yeah.
From MDP.
Mm-hmm.
So we got a lot of good people on board. You know, the problem is keeping stock in because people want everything. Yeah. So we're gonna do a big thing at the World Cup, and you know, podcast things are on my list. I'm in charge of sponsorship, so.
Well, there you go. You're the person to talk to.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
So how can people get a hold of you as far as sponsorship goes or anything like that? Like, what's your they find you online or
just go Lasoya at pushpaintball.com. Real easy.
Nice. I
made it easy. That's pretty simple. If you can't spell Lasoya, you probably should play golf or something.
That's pretty. If you don't know the name Lasoya, then you're in the wrong sport.
There's a lot of these little fuckers that don't know Lasoya, but I'm probably their dad, so I really don't have to anyway. Respectfully.
Yeah.
But anyway, so push. I wouldn't come back for most people. Brian did a good job. And like I said, man, with my injury and the way the paintball community had come back to me, I'm trying to give back the best way I possibly can.
Yeah.
In any way possible I can.
Yeah.
So.
No, it's good, man. It's good to see you back. It's good to see you, teaming up with Push. It's good to see companies like Push coming into the sport. Because it's really such an unknown because paintball is so. Man, it's such a weird thing because it's
so finicky.
It is.
It's like being married without getting laid.
Yeah.
That's kind of a good way to put it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that wasn't very convincing, Carl.
Well, I believe it. How about that?
Well, I mean, you have a kid, you get laid. Obviously.
Yeah, it is true. It is true.
So, but seriously, like it is a finicky industry. Mm-hmm. But I think the right people are in place right now, like with Gino with Vulcan, Mike Hinneman taking over, the paint company. Mm-hmm. I think HK is doing a lot of good stuff. Push. I really think, Richmond and GI and those guys are doing some good things as well. I think they're all progressive. Rich Telford, look what he's doing with this little splat stuff, the JT stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's all it's really progressive. And, I had a chance to play with Rich in ICC. And man, I loved that guy before. He's always a good dude.
Yeah.
But I have a newfound respect for him, Richie Malcheski, Danny Love. I mean, Danny's doing it for his son with autism, like I said, we had mentioned before.
Yeah.
If you guys don't know about autism, I definitely think you should reach out. Maybe check out Danny Love online and, help his cause out. But there's so many things out there that people are doing for the right reason. Tom Cole, Tim Montrester. I mean, I could go on for days. Yourself, exactly.
Yeah.
People aren't doing what you're doing. The BKI, the BKI tournament or players clinics. There's a lot of stuff going on out there that are very productive for the sport, and I'm really happy to see where we're at.
Yeah, I want to see tournament paintball grow. I mean, paintball in general, yes, I want to see grow, but I'd like to see the competitive side that we've dedicated our lives to actually, start coming to fruition, and I'd like to see the players start getting compensated for it, not just a couple players. I'd like to see, because it's not just those 1 and 2 players that work hard. You know what I mean? There's a lot of players out there that work really hard and get to this spot where it's, where they made it pro, but there's nothing really, like you get your flights and you get gear. But other than that, I mean, you still have time away from your family and everything. So it's like, you're not really being compensated for your time or missed work or whatever it is.
Oh, I'm a prime believer in that. And besides the time, the payoff or whatever, time away from family, I'd focus more on health insurance. I really would, because look at me. I mean, I'll be honest with you, Carl. I'm broken, man. Like, my back's done. I have 2 torn ACLs. I'm paying $500 a month for my insurance to get this stuff fixed myself.
Yeah.
And these are companies that I've made millions and millions of dollars for. I'm not blowing my own horn by any means, but I'm saying realistically, I've made these companies millions of dollars, by product endorsements or whatever it might be. And then I tear my ACL just to get thrown to the side.
Right.
And that to me it's disappointing, to say the least. Torn ACL, bad back. Well, getting fat, that's kind of my problem. I like cheese and bread. So
don't
really
do
help.
Stop it. Stop
Listen,
with the cheese and bread.
Listen, you ain't seen none of this. You ain't seen that. I think I pulled a hammy.
There you go.
No, but seriously, that was funny. But like I'm telling you, like, there's no health insurance past beating your body up. I tore my first ACL in Paris, France, and had zero help from anybody. Mm-hmm. I tore my ACL again at a tournament. My back, I guarantee that's it's from paintball. Elbows, shoulders. Insert anything here. You've had injuries. I know you have.
Yeah, I've already missed an event this year because of a knee injury.
I've missed the past 4 years, so you're welcome.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks.
No, but you understand what I'm saying, though.
Absolutely.
If you want to start somewhere, there should be a blanket policy for health insurance. The player, at least for the pros, if not for everybody, the pros at least. Mm-hmm. Because I filed bankruptcy. I'll be honest with you. Yeah. Because of my injuries, I filed bankruptcy because of my $67,000 in medical bills I had.
And it adds up quick.
I'm telling you. And for all the kids out there that they think that they're going to be a professional paintball player, making $150,000 a year like I used to, it's not all bells and whistles, man. You really got to, if the industry comes together and says, hey, look, we'll give you health insurance, for the pros or whatever, it might help. And that might be a step. Nike coming into the mix, I was super impressed with that. That's a great, because Nike has more money than God. So, I mean, they have the
but they're not tax exempt like God is.
No, nice, well played. Well, that's a good point. But but we're a write off though. So
See.
But I'm saying I think that paintball as a whole, with all the companies, like I said, GI, Vulcan, Push, all those other people, it's a progression to make the sport legit, like we have been trying to do for so many years. We were almost there in 2007, 2006, and then 2008 hit with the economy, and then that shit on us, which kind of set us back to zero, to restart again. Mm-hmm. I think with the way the companies are going these days, look at Bart. Bart is he's a godsend. He's putting a lot of money into the sport. Tom Cole, anybody in the NXL for that matter, Richmond, they're making a good effort of it to try and legitimize, exactly what we have been trying to accomplish for all these years. And Richmond, he came from zero, man. Like, people don't understand how Richmond came to what he is. You know the story or no?
I have no idea.
So Richmond, Richmond, Italia, obviously. Mm-hmm. So Richmond's one of my best friends. And back in the day, he was playing paintball with his brother and some other people, and he was buying paint from PMI. This is back when PMI was around. And PMI, something had happened with PMI that pissed him off. And if you know Richmond, the last thing you want to do with Richmond is piss him off. So Richmond said, you know what? I'll do it myself. Hence, flash forward to 2018, and here we are. So that's what you get when you piss off a person like Richmond Italian. So he was just one of those people that, he's like, I'll do it myself. And he's a very affluent person and driven person that makes things happen. And I think that between him and Vulcan with Gino, and Brian and everybody else that's on the upper echelon of making paintball happen, I think they're all on the same path to make things progressive for everybody. Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, I'm in the latter part of it, so I'm mechanical now. Well, you see that right there? That's a bicep right there for my finger.
Yeah, you do those workouts. You put a little weight on the end of your finger. You're just like,
I did. I totally do.
See, well, and going back, just for that point exactly, going back, how fun and exciting is it to shoot somebody with a ball that you intentionally put out of your marker, and how satisfying is that to see that ball go poof and blow up off of somebody because you were just like dink, dink, dink.
So I played for the first time like in competition at ICC, mm-hmm. and I might say that it might have taken me a little longer to get the hell where I wanted to be. Yeah. Probably about 2 or 3 minutes longer. But when I got there, I actually played pretty well. I was surprised. And I remember, I think the most there was 2 things that actually made me laugh at ICC. Is I was running to a front bunker because my 2 fast, really good people, Ninos and Brandon Rabikoff, both got shot. And I was like, shit, now I got to get my fat ass up there. So I'm running up there, and there's probably like 50 people, Carl, watching this. Yeah. I run up. I'm 15, 20 feet from the bunker, fall flat in my face. And I'm trying to crawl up, and I look at him. I'm like, that was not very graceful, huh? And they all laughed at me. I was like, okay, well, that was funny. The second thing is I ran up. We were playing some team. I can't remember who they were. But I shot 6 or 7 guys this game on the Mounds field. And the first guy I bunkered, I shot him probably like 10 times. He posted like 2 days later, he's like, yeah, I had to get my replacement lens getting bunkered by Chris Lasoya. I was like, that made me feel good.
It's like a statement in the game.
I was like, hey, if you got a push goggle, I'd give it to you for free.
There you go.
But honestly, the whole ICC mechanical, the whole mechanical movement is just, the people are cool. Everybody's nice. It's just old school kind of stuff. It's not like the stress about bullshit other tournaments. Mm-hmm. It was just really cool. Tim did a really good job. Rennie did a great job with his tournament. And Rob Anderson with the Bay City Classic coming up in October is going to be a really good tournament as well.
Nice.
So yeah, I look forward to shit like that. You know why? Because I can actually make a bunker.
There you go. So what does Push have coming, and if you can talk about it, what does Push have coming out at World Cup? What can we see new from Push?
I can talk about a couple things. I mean, obviously, I already showed you the cooler, mm-hmm. Which is a replacement for the Yeti bullshit thing that sucks.
Yeah, it's expensive.
Yeah, seriously. We have a lot of new colorways coming out. The Infamous goggle that we have 2 different colorways of the Infamous goggle. Infamous is a huge supporter of us. Travis Lemansky and those guys do a really good job. And I love the guy. Obviously, I have some, time, given with those guys. Mm-hmm. Couple new Infamous goggles coming out. A lot of new, like, camo colorways and some new stuff coming out that I really can't talk about. But it's on. Brian's done a really good job. We're a startup company at the end of the day. Yeah. So inventory is always, like, we're trying, because we sell stuff so much, and so quickly that it's hard to keep up with demand.
Yeah.
So I guess selling out is a lot better than sitting on, 1,000 SKUs of, different stuff.
It's better to be moving inventory than sitting on it.
Yeah, man. But it's a great company. We have a lot of good stuff. I believe we have one of the best goggles out there, and I think our bags are, the best out there without question. Everybody wants them. So I mean, just keep an eye out. I could go, a little more in deep depth, but
we'll talk about it. Let's talk a little bit after the podcast, and we can off air, and we'll.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I got some stuff for you.
Awesome, man. Yeah. So let's wrap it up there. Okay. Chris, I absolutely appreciate it, man. It was a joy having you on, and I can't wait to see you at the next event.
Hey, man, I'm telling you, Carl, you've always been my favorite, bro. You're a great kid. I'm super stoked for you. Happy on the baby. Good luck on the other girl that's coming up.
Thank you.
2 girls, right?
No, I'll have a boy, and then this will be a girl.
Oh.
Yeah. Get a little bit of both now.
That's good for you. Are you done now or what?
We done.
You're doing a great job, bro. I'm gonna be in Chicago for the NXL. I'll be out there kind of pushing some stuff out. I'm gonna be coaching Destiny, hanging out with the people and helping out Infamous. If you're out there, look me up. I'd love to have a beer with you, hang out, man. You're a great kid, and I fucking miss you to death, brother.
Absolutely, man. Love you too. We'll see you soon.
Yes, sir.
Bye.
Later, brother.
Thank you, Chris Lasoya, for sitting down and chatting with me. I had a great time, bud. I love you. You are a charm in the paintball world, not only on the field, but also now that you're working for Push, and we can see you every time we go to an event. It's great to see your big, glowing, smiling face and goatee. But he's a great guy. I love Chris. He is a legend in the sport, and who knows where we would be without him. So big thank you, big props to Mr. Lasoya. Another quick shout out to our sponsors. Again, thank you to Charm City Paintball. Check them out over on Facebook as well as Instagram. If you are looking for headgear, there is nowhere else to look but Charm City. He has the stuff that you need. It's not only head wraps with they can have a tie back or Velcro back, but he has all kinds of headbands too, and it's all hand stitched. He does it from a small attic, and there's only one light bulb, and he just stitches it all by hand. He doesn't have a machine, and no, I'm sure he has a machine to do it with, but it is done by him. So every single thing is hand stitched by Mr. Thompson, and it's great. It's amazing stuff. Make sure you check him out. Thanks, Mike. Another big thank you to Carbon Paintball. Again, if you guys use capital TPOP at checkout, you will get 10% off your entire order, no matter what you choose. If you choose 2 base layers, if you choose some SC packs, the CC stuff, anything that you guys choose, use that promo code at checkout and you'll get 10% off. If any teams out there have any kind of inquiries about sponsorships for your team, give myself a shout, Carl at carbonpaintball.com, or head over to carbonpaintball.com and shoot us an email, and we can be sure to work something out. But thank you, Carbon Paintball, and thank you to Planet Eclipse, the producers, manufacturers, engineers of the best paintball markers on the planet. One of them being the LV1 series, another of them being the EMAC, and the other being the CS2. They got all kinds of markers. They have all kinds of stuff. Check them out, planeteclipse.com. I'm sure you guys have heard of them. But thank you again, all of our sponsors, and thank you to everyone out there listening. It's been an amazing time. It's been an amazing run. I hope to continue to do this time and time again. I enjoy all these conversations. I enjoy the feedback from you guys, and I love doing this, man. I love diving deep into the stories of some of the people that I grew up watching, and also to some of the new people that are out there, and the new pros, and eventually I will get to some divisional players. But it's good to hear stories, and I'm glad that I can bring it to the table and hear those stories and have you guys hear those stories. So thank you everybody for listening. Again, do not text and drive. Keep your eyes on the road. Listen to podcasts. and love life, man. Love life. Play paintball. That's it. Thank you guys again, and we will see you again here soon on the Playing On Podcast. Peace!